Hello friend, welcome back to another episode of The Quest Givers, and we are going to be talking about the role of the mentor.
If you're looking for adventure, excitement, thrills, and a dice-rolling good time, sit back and enjoy the next few minutes with Quest Givers DM Scotty and DMG. They're taking you on an epic journey through the role-playing experience every Friday. Learn the ways of the Game Master, the Dungeon Master, and delve into the minds of the players. Grab the modules each month to support the channel and play the campaign with your gaming group. You're sure to get hooked on adventure.
To start off, everybody probably knows what a mentor is, right? It's, you know, if you've seen Star Wars, you know what a mentor is. That movie is, or that series of movies is riddled with mentors, both good and evil, right? So, you know, Obi-Wan, Yoda, that kind of thing. So, yeah, you just got all that. You know, so people kind of instinctively almost know now what a mentor is, but there are definitely some things we can talk about.
A mentor is a central component of the journey that the heroes are on. So, you know, a lot of the stuff we're talking about is actually distilled from a lot of work that's been done, especially by a gentleman named Joseph Campbell, whose work George Lucas actually based the structure of Star Wars on. So that's why you start to see a lot of similarities between things, because there's other people who developed, you know, things on top of that as well. But the mentor is very important because the mentor traditionally in sort of in culture, the mentor is the teacher, the one, you know, you go to school and you are mentored. So it's part of every person's life. And so it should be part of the journey that the heroes undertake when they're actually on the adventure. But that's only one component of it. So the next component is actually foreshadowing. So you've got the teaching element, and then you've got a foreshadowing element.
I love foreshadowing, right? And, you know, foreshadowing is just basically you're giving something, you know, dangerous that could happen, you know, in the player's, or something interesting or dangerous that could happen in the player's future, right? So this is so useful in role-playing games. There's a lot of things about destiny and that kind of thing, and the mentor can play some roles in that. But that's a way you can kind of add that to your game, add destiny to your game by having a mentor, you know, tell the players about their experience, right? So that can be a thing, or just warn them of the danger, you know, warn them of the danger ahead. And yeah, so maybe the mentor wasn't able to, you know, conquer the problem. Like, for example, the thing of Obi-Wan, right? He didn't defeat Darth Vader. So Luke had to go back and defeat Darth Vader, but he could warn him about the dangers of Darth Vader, which didn't all come into play. You know, even though he was warned about it, didn't all come into play until Luke was taking his own journey and then found out, you know, the father thing and all this other interesting stuff. So you're not necessarily giving everything away with a mentor, but you're giving the players something valuable they can use, which is information is super valuable in the game.
Yeah, that sort of gift, the mentor is giving the gift of knowledge, or it can actually be a physical gift. So if you use Star Wars as an example again, he gives Luke his father's lightsaber. So at this point he doesn't know that, or spoilers if you haven't seen Star Wars, doesn't know that Darth Vader is his father, but you know, he gives him this gift of the lightsaber, which he will use on his adventure. So at this point in a role-playing game, the mentor can give the character something, like it could be the key to a door in the dungeon that unlocks the weapon that the guy left there, you know, the last time he tried to conquer the dungeon and couldn't. You know, there's some big badass monster in there, and you know, he camped for the night and he had to leave in a hurry, so he just locked the door with all his stuff in there and ran out of the dungeon. So he gifts you this key, or he would have knowledge of how to open a secret door or something like that. So he gifts this information to, or she, doesn't have to be he, gifts this information to the players so that they can then solve a little puzzle in the actual journey of the dungeon, or you know, it gives them a map that that shows them a location of something they didn't know was there, or there's a variety of different things that you can throw into it. But Another aspect of it is you don't actually need to have a physical person. It can actually be an object or even a state of mind that can be the mentor. So how have you used the sort of state of mind in your game, Scotty?
Yeah, it could be someone who is, you know, has a particular quest or a mission. Maybe they found a letter from their father, right? And they're pursuing the information from this letter to see, you know, and the letters, you know, gave them enough information to get them out the door and, you know, get them started. And they're, you know, making their hero's journey just from that. So yeah, you can. It can also be a duty that you have. So if if you feel you have a duty to the world or whatever, you know, that can be kind of, you know, what has been passed down from other sources can define your character, like, you know, a way that the paladin should behave, or the way you're a warrior and you have a code, you have a warrior's code, and maybe you want, you know, that's defining your character, and that, you know, mentors you in the way that that your character behaves. So yeah, it can definitely be other things besides a physical person.
Yeah, it's like if you take, for instance, in games where there's a paladin with an oath, or a cleric or something like that, they could be praying to a deity, and the deity is the one who acts as the mentor. Now, you don't need to have a separate character every single time. They could be going back to the same person every single time. You could be operating out of a village, and there's a village elder that keeps giving them little bits of information that, you know, that helps them on their quest. And in our module this month, which is Knights of Old, you know, it's a lot about teaching. So the characters, the heroes, are actually taught various things, and these trials that they basically go through to teach them various things will actually help them in modules to come. So we kind of built that whole mentoring thing into the module Knights of Old, and that's really why we're talking about it this month, is because it's an integral component of the stage that we're at on the North Road campaign.
And I'm sure you've noticed at this point that, you know, the subjects we're talking with you in these videos are, you know, specifically tied to the modules, right? Because we have a certain philosophy of the modules, you know, and you're going through different stages of your journey, and those stages are represented in the story, in the modules, and the mentor plays a big part in this month's module. So yeah, some really cool stuff, some really interesting stuff, and I think you'll really enjoy how the characters end up interacting with the mentors that they meet.
Once again, we subvert expectations, so it won't be what you think. So with that, thank you for joining us. Check out our website, questgivers.com, where you can purchase all the modules, and we will see you in the next video.